Welcome everybody to our new episode, Conversations That Matter. Today I have with me for you a phenomenal woman, beautiful, as you will see in a moment, who will share with us a very interesting story of herself that I believe will be a great drive and inspiration for all of us how to bring the happiness to our own life, how to fall in love with our own life. Terrie Christine, intuitive energy healer. Terrie, welcome and thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you so much, number one, for saying yes and your love and support to your community. And so it is. Yes, thank you.
Intuitive energy healer. I'm very curious about this subject. One reason is because I am not sure if I believe in these things. From the other hand, there is so much knowledge already shared about that. And I believe there are people who are having this special energy, ability, talent, given blessing to heal other people, to heal the energy of other people. But if you can speak to me as a person who does know nothing, what is it, intuitive energy healing?
Thank you so much. First off, for being raw, open, and vulnerable to share that, you have curiosity, but you're not sure. And I really appreciate that candor and that truth. So when you're using the word intuitive, it's about trusting within self. And so, I wish to say we all wake up and, we're connected and truly creating and visualizing everything that we say, do, and have. And we are to a point, but then as we're growing up, within the four walls of our childhood, you will see patterns from your caregivers. When you're seeing those patterns, that's what a child will begin to believe or rotate or bring forth and saying, oh, I love the way dad takes the tools and he feels so powerful and doing the yard and fixing the car, and I want to do that. And so the child will take on certain things that are in the environment. But what ends up happening is the child will take on other certain things that don't relate or vibrate, quote unquote, with the child's soul. Meaning you may see that a parent made a decision, and within that decision, it caused financial heartache and problems.
Mm-hmm.
And so what the child will watch is that mom and dad starting to have arguments, or one of the caregivers will get emotional. And the child will now, because it's the vision and the hearing within the child of that experience, is saying, oh, it's not good to make a decision based on money. It's not good to make decisions with, and whatever was being showcased between the parents, right? And so now it becomes part of the subconscious space in you as an adult. So right now, you and I are consciously speaking along with the listeners hearing this conversation, consciously hearing it. But within our conversation, I could be triggering a reminder of what happened to their caregiver or grandparent. And so they'll say, oh, the trigger is the memory being brought forward. And so I will intuitively work with someone without them telling me anything other than their first name. And I will move into their energy and then tell them what I'm picking up. And what I mean is move into their energy. I have what you could label, I love to label them superpowers, but I am clairvoyant, clairaudient, and clairsentient. So, which allows me, I can see movies in my head, I can hear conversations, and the clairsentient is just knowing. And so when I'm working with someone, I can tell them there's certain things that I'll ask in my head really, really quick because of the 20 years of practice of
Mm.
what's going on with them, what are their challenges, and how can I help them see something differently. So then I will start to see a movie in my head, and then I'll share the movie. The movie doesn't need to look like you and mom having an argument and you cry. The movie can look like two fish swimming in the sea. One's an angel fish. One jumps up in the sky out of the water, comes back down and swims away. And that's telling me someone left the family unit. So after all of the years of practice, I will see things of visions that are going to help me understand that can be in a very light and jovial way to share what's going on with my client so that I can help them put their pieces of their puzzle together. And so now, meaning you may be struggling with your divided time. You may find that you have your personal life and you have your business life, and that you're struggling with balance in between the two. And yes, there's many of us that deal with that. And then some will say, well, that's common. Well, then they're not really experiencing the turmoil that that one individual is really struggling with. She may have children, or he may have a partner that he wants to spend more time with, but his business keeps him, so compacted in the business.
Mm.
And so each one of those people have two different situations, but are experiencing the same frustration. So they're trying to figure out how to get out of that, how to get out of ways, but still keep their business going or keep their position in corporate going, right? And still find love in their personal life. And so I'm the one who can help them to determine from their childhood what's going on in the subconscious space, to bring it to the present space, and then to shift the subconscious that they seem to be having that duality with,
Mm.
the fight for one and the fight for the other. So that, and then I give them tips and tricks on how to see things differently, how to respond differently once I'm bringing up the subconscious space. And someone might say, and I'm going into detail because you asked a very profound question. And I want you and the listeners to understand that I'm not just some, woo-woo person coming in, especially when you said, I don't know if I believe, which is an amazing question because I do have lots of clients that come to me dragging a husband or dragging their partner and going, I want this to change. And we're doing everything, but we need to try alternative ways. And so you can look at me as an alternative way to help shift what you may be struggling with. So
Mm.
now back to the end result is that you may be finding that, you have two different lifestyles, the personal and the business, and you're trying to melt them both so you're happy, right? And so you may find that once I pull out of the subconscious that you were having, seeing grandma uh, all alone when granddad was traveling all the time. And
Mm.
so she's like thinking that, oh my gosh, I saw grandma all by herself all the time, and I don't want to be like that. So then the child will say, well, I don't want to have someone or a partner that takes me away, and you end up manifesting a partner or a job that has you traveling. So then it's a matter of shifting what you thought about as a child, thinking that grandma was lonely and struggling and the heartache she was, based on the child seeing it for the first time. And so now, again, as I stated, you bring it to the subconscious space and you're struggling with the two things on how you can be happy with both. and meld them both. So that's how I can help someone in a profound way, working in the subconscious, so that you can become a believer, so that you can say, wow, this really works. Wow, I'm getting results from it. It doesn't have to be a scientifically proven end result. If you're getting an
Mm.
end result that pleases you and you're happy with it, isn't that worth moving into it and trying it if nothing else is helping you succeed to your end result?
I think you just break down the code, how complicated we are as human beings. We are not aware. We are living happy life. Sometimes we think it's a happy life when we are
Mm,
kids because it's an
hmm.
environment that we are placed in, and that's our condition.
That's
Without
right.
our knowledge, we are conditioned. What we are observing, what we are experiencing, starting from home, how the communication is happening, how the relations, how we even set up the table for the dinner, what kind of habits as
Yes.
a family we do have.
Yes.
And, and then, when you said about the intuition and building, what came to my mind when you come to the room or meeting a new person, there is kind of hit in you the intuition. You feel that person or you don't feel that person.
Yes. Yes. And might I add, and I just want to add right here, is when you said, well, what just came to mind that you did not force to come into your mind. It just was triggered as your answer that came in based on our interaction. That's a part of your intuition.
It's not a magic because I have to tell you honestly, somehow I have perceived that as a kind of magic that, like you said, guru and woo-woo in front of someone. But what I understand, and correct me if I'm wrong, is actually what you do is trying to align people with their inner call. Align, sometimes even help to find that inner call first.
Mm.
So it's not just one magic movement. Yeah, do you help people to discover themselves?
Yes. I got a little emotional when you just said that because you were diving deep into your own feeling of saying, I see. Oh, now I see what you're in how you described it. That was so beautiful.
Tech issue, but as a two brave woman, we manage that.
Yes, we keep moving forward.
Definitely. So yeah, we finished about do you help to discover people themselves?
Yes, I love that question because the bottom line is most people don't know who they are, but they do know they're angry, frustrated, not feeling complete or satisfied. And so that can be in various parts of their life or all of their life, from their personal to their business life. And so I literally am the one who can help them see what they're struggling with. I call it putting their pieces of their puzzle together
Hmm.
and helping them understand that a lot of the things are from the childhood, just like I explained. And then your follow-up was just, seeing what is going on around them that a child will pick up. Now, right, you and I right now have had history in life. We've, had relationships, jobs, hired and fired, or whatever it was. We're in and out of various different things from our children and so on and so forth. And so we've experienced what it takes to hustle and grind and live in joyful
Oh,
presence and
yes,
and all of the
definitely.
wonderful things. Yes, right? So, but a child hasn't. So when a child is looking at what's going on in their environment, they're experiencing it for the first time. And that's when they're choosing to say, I'm not being heard, or I'm not good enough, or mom doesn't love me. And
Mm,
then it's still in the subconscious, even though you're an adult now, as you've experienced these things. So a trigger is when, like I was saying, I might say something that might bring a memory, or maybe even someone says, I don't like the way your hair is, because it could remind them by the color or the cut or whatever it is from something or someone that they didn't have a good experience with, right? That's a trigger. And so there is like where sometimes people just go, "Oh, I just don't like her," and leave the room. We've had those experiences. I know
yes.
everyone has, and we don't understand. We just like, "Oh, there's something about her," and it's energy. It's about a feeling, and feeling is energy, the equal vibration of what you're feeling. And so when we begin to trust the feeling, so when you started with, and I love it because I'm going to keep going back to it because that was a main topic I grabbed when you said, I'm not sure if I believe. And I love that. I love that you shared that because I don't want to be where people are faking it, like, okay, we're
Mhm.
going to put her on because I welcome your questions on how I can help you in the end result to move more into curiosity. I'm not here to convince you that
Curiosity,
I am,
yes.
yes,
We don't have it. We lost it.
yes.
And lost it. The interesting thing is, people will be curious what new car neighbor bought, but they're not curious to ask own kid, "Are
Mhm.
you happy?"
Right.
That's very. We are curious, but this curiosity has deviated into a completely different direction.
Yes.
Direction where we feel alone, we become
Yes.
lonely, despite with
Yes.
the full family under the roof. When we speak about consciousness and subconsciousness, these are two elements. We hear about that. We learn at some point at school about this, where maybe some biology and touching the brain part. But then when we grow up, we understand more. Is it something intuition? Where is falling intuition? Our subconsciousness or consciousness?
Mm. Well, it's the human form of trusting the physical body. So that becomes the conscious state. And
Mm,
when you're in it and feeling it, that's the subconscious space. So it's the duality of both,
okay.
right? And when you said that thought came to your mind, right? Some will say, well, I put it there because I was thinking of your topic. No, you said the thought came to my mind naturally, right?
Mm,
That's your intuition that you threw out and said, I need this answer.
yeah.
And you received it with a thought that gradually, naturally came into you. That's an intuition. You called for an answer, you received the answer.
We receive the answer. Do we see it in terms of, are we aware? Because like there is this saying, we are listening with one ear and with other ear is walking
Ex
away. Right?
exactly. That was
And
so
in
deep.
some cases, I think this is how we function.
Yes, that was very deep what you just said. Because, again, I went back and said, some will say, well, I put that there because I was just thinking of the topic. Well, no, you're
Mhm.
not constantly saying, okay, what am I putting in my mind? You allowed your intuition, your thought process to guide you to the answer. Now we can take it to the level of feeling. So when you receive, here's the perfect example. When you received a request for me to be on your show, you read what I had sent you, but you had to feel how it would resonate with you in order for you to allow it to resonate with your audience. So there was something in there that you felt like this would be good. And that's your intuition. And you said, because I'm sure that you don't accept everyone. I'm sure you read and have disciplined yourself to feel like, oh, I don't know about this one. Even though you're reading it, you're bringing it in to feel it. That's your intuition.
But aren't we here a bit at the risk to mix intuition with intention?
Yes, I love that. So when you're wanting something to create and have, you can
Mm.
set your intent prior to, just like what you did when you put it out in the ethers, which is social media, and
Yes.
asked for people to come into your platform. So
Mm.
you set the intent, but you set it in your mind to write it. You wrote it and then you pressed send. So that was
Yes.
your intention. I want to bring people forth into my platform. Now you are reading what we are all sending you, and you're feeling like, oh, I like this. I like the way she's writing. I like the way he's highlighting this. This would be good. This sounds great because you're feeling what someone has, or what you're reading and what someone has sent you. But most people, when they're living in the state of not being as intentional in life, because you said that was a complete intention of what you did, they'll just say, well, I did that. I sent it out and this person responded and I'm just reading it. And no,
Mm.
there's a deeper level to all of this. And when you, like, just how you're asking these amazing questions to bring forth your curiosity to say, this makes sense.
Because it sounds what you say, it just like bringing a different light. Because we have this intention, we have intuition. I am driven by saying people learn so you will understand your choices in life in a better way.
Mhm.
Learn because the knowledge with will uncover you the consequences in a brighter way of your choices. If
Mhm.
you stick to the same square that you are right now and you stay there for next 10 years, you will most probably, yeah, of course, not connect with yourself, but you will
Mhm.
be driven in life by someone else's desires,
Mm.
the social trends. So you will be like a piece of cloud that is coming with others as the wind
Mhm.
flows,
Mhm.
with no conscious thinking.
Mhm.
So I say like, yeah, knowledge is having a huge impact on even how we are able to understand the meaning, what you say right now, the difference
Mhm.
between intention and intuition. We speak, oh, self-awareness, self-alignment. These are bold words, but actually we need to talk what is below self-awareness,
Yes.
intuition. And it
Mhm.
shows me, oh, it's a heartbeat is raising because it's even more work to be done if you really want to make the change in life. You need to start design your own ladder of the
Yes.
steps.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
not just that, oh, I will go to Terrie, Terrie will make a connection with my energy, and then I am healed. Because I
Yes.
understand you show me the way.
That's right.
And
So, no, I love the way you just described that, because you're getting aha moments in what you're thinking about what I'm saying. It's not just having a conversation, it's to turn the volume up. I'm bringing the word back, curiosity.
Yeah.
of saying, because if we're not curious, then we're not going to even consider listening any longer or reading any longer, right? Or even welcoming anything if we're not curious as to what this is about. Not just me in this conversation, but anything else in your life that you're manifesting. And yes, we all manifest stuff into our life. And so being able to say, I'm not thrilled with where I am. That's the number one step. I'm not thrilled with where I am. And I've tried one, two, three, four, five, and I'm still not thrilled. So try 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, which could look different than what you have tried in the past. So by being able to embrace other things, to say, didn't Einstein say that, if you tried it 1,000 different ways, you haven't failed? You try it 1,001 and you may succeed.
Oh, that's
And so,
that's so true. But
yes,
but even just hanging for a bit on this, what you have said, not giving up, trying.
yes, yes.
We lost
We're
the
still
power in it,
breathing.
but we lost the power in it because we are so much consumed with, I try one time and I shall succeed.
Yes, yes. I have many clients that come to me. I work with couples. So, I work with children. Majority of my clients are women. They're more open to receive this, but I do work with a lot of couples. And I'll hear, well, we've worked on that and we're not succeeding. Then I say, well, what does that look like? Well, for a week we tried it and it didn't work. Right? I have people
One,
that say, yeah, meditation doesn't work for me. I tried it. Well, how long did you try? I fell asleep twice. It took me 3 months to succeed to the most powerful level of manifesting, or excuse me, and meditating. 3 months, but I never gave up. It took me 1 year to manifest being on the reality show Real Housewives of Potomac. I never gave up. It took me 3 months to manifest Love and Marriage DC. I never gave up.
so you are using, sorry,
Yes, yes.
because I hear something very interesting here. And it's beautiful that you succeeded in your dreams, that you want to have it in your vision, but that you use meditation for manifesting
Hmm.
things.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
something amazing. I see them as two different things.
Mm.
That meditating is like, reach Zen for a day,
Hmm.
and manifesting, if I'm walking around and I'm talking, this is what is happening. But I like your approach, using meditation to manifest. How are you doing
Yeah.
that?
Yes. It's open up doors. When you're manifesting and clearing your mind through meditation, most people will say, just clear your mind. You have too much going on. Ground yourself,
Mm,
and then you'll feel that sense of peace. Well, there's more to meditation than just clearing the mind. So, first off, it does help you ground. It gives you the sense of peace. It can lower your blood pressure, but it can bring you answers through meditation, through your connection. Let's call it all that is, right? I'll
mm,
label it God, higher self, but let's just call it all that is. So when you're connecting to this other sense of energy, it could allow you to bring forth the answers you're seeking. Now, I want to pause right this minute. You and I are right here having a conversation, and people are listening. There can be resistance in this conversation
mm,
where someone says, all that is, that's resistance. Separate from what I just said and move into the curiosity. You can just kind of erase that sentence and say, but all this other stuff, kind of cool. I want to hear more, right?
mm,
So when you're moving into the curiosity, then when you're allowing yourself to clear your mind through meditation, you can receive answers that can tell you how your day is going to be. Or if you're trying to make a decision, instead of turning left, go right. You
I
could see
love
your
that.
vision. Yes, you could see a vision of driving and you're thinking you're going to work and you see in the vision through meditation that you're going left before the light you need to go to. Well, then do it. Experiment, try. Because the more we start moving into trusting from the answers we get through meditation,
Oh, wow.
trusting is that complete connection to your heart, trusting what is within, but you're getting it in forms that you say you've been trained and asking. The trained is, I got to see it to believe it. I got to hear it. And so once we get out of that trained, thought of seeing it and hearing it, and now getting into the feeling of it, getting your answers through meditation, then you can manifest, excuse me, to your heart's content.
No one actually is telling it is not that you can do it just ad hoc. You need time, and maybe this is why people are giving up, because we don't hear too much these teachings. Hey, hold on, just be careful, because if you start today the meditation, it will take you most probably around 2-3 months. You will start understanding the purpose of meditation. You will
That's
start
right.
receiving the voice from the meditation, because I learned more and align myself with the whole exercise of meditation. I think after 6-7 months of practicing yoga, only after that time I understood the breathing practice during yoga.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning, it was
Mm-hmm.
very mechanical. Clack, clack, oh my God, again, this exercise, difficult, I don't like this, it's boring, and this is my mind talking while doing the exercise.
Uh-huh. The old
After two,
pattern.
3 months, you start listening the instructor talking about the breathing. After 2-3 months, I started to hear that she is teaching about the breathing.
Yes.
So, oh, okay. So I am pushing back my brain and giving the attention to the breathing. The
Uh-huh.
time is passing so that this balance is changing. And when I learn about breathing and decreasing the activity of my brain, my mind, then I realized the power of meditation. The expectations are quite often our drive. That's why
Mm-hmm.
the couple will try something for a week, it doesn't work. The meditations, oh, it didn't work because I fall asleep twice. When I go for the workshop, so what kind of expectations you do have? And people are listing expectations. Like,
Mm-hmm.
did you read what it's all
Mm-hmm.
about?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no, not entirely. So how can you build the expectations? And that's the first nail. How selfishly we are approaching the change. Intention.
Exactly. Exactly. An
Intention.
expectation is setting yourself up for failure. If you're moving into something that you're wanting to create, let's talk about a couple. They try it for a week and it doesn't work. Well, as both are both parties in it completely, right? Are they shifting how they respond completely, individually, but collectively? It's
Mm,
not one or the other. It's individually and collectively because we're all individual souls in a physical body separately. However, energetically, we are one. That's why we want to keep trying to work through things, right? And so when you are seeing someone respond to your action, may it not be the positive thing, then that's a trigger. And you can easily, because communication is the number one factor
mm,
with relationships, with anything for that matter, but we're talking about relationships. You have to say, Okay, I was just triggered. I feel it. That's all. The
Mm.
person that I see these couples
Good
regularly,
trick.
and yes, I was just triggered because that trigger can and usually is from childhood. The person could be saying, come here, let's eat. Come on, let's go. And then over time, from the childhood, that mom would scream and shout and scream and shout. They'd come to the table and she wasn't ready. So
Mm.
now they're sitting at the table and they say to the kids, say to themselves, well, we're not going to come as soon as she says, or we can smell the food on the table.
Yeah.
And so those, you see, there wasn't any aggression with it. It was simply a child saying, I'm not coming to the table until I know the food's on the table. And
Yeah.
that they have chosen in that time. And now here you're adults. And the woman is saying, why aren't you coming to the table? I'm telling you dinner is here, and you're telling me you need to smell it first. But it's here. So there has to be some interaction with meeting in the middle of being able to say, I was just triggered by that. I was triggered because I had to ask you 100 times. And this is you can relate this with your children. Clean your room, clean your room, clean your room. I laugh
Yes.
about that because I did it with my kids until finally I said, come to the dining room table. Both kids came, and then I would look at them, and then I would cry. And I would say, my repetitive asking is hurting me. It makes me feel like you don't love
Mm.
me because I'm guiding you to be team members in this family. And when I have to ask 100 times, it makes me feel dot, dot, dot. And so now my children are watching mom cry. They're seeing that I'm so sad that I'm having to ask so many times. And then I ask, because I always end with a solution.
Mm.
What can we all do that makes us all happy? And then I'll listen to my children. My children will say, well, maybe mom, say it 5 times. Well, 5 times is a lot, babes, because if I'm running around like I have a schedule, you're running around like you have a schedule, you have to get ready for school, you have to get ready for bed. That if I'm asking 5 times, that's 5 times that I have to remember, and 5 times that I think, and 5 times longer.
Yeah, it's
How
four
about if
times
we
too
do it?
much.
That's right. And I say, how about if we do it 1 time? And then they'll come back with theirs. Well, if I'm in the middle of da da da. So then we agreed 2 times at the most. At the most. Then
Hmm.
if it doesn't happen, come back to the dining room table and we chat about it again. So until we get the old patterns banished from
Mhm.
the house, sometimes it will take more than 1 time, sometimes 5 or 6 times. But the dining room table is my negotiating space. And I say that with couples, I say that with families, and I say that with self. The dining room
Mm.
table is where we can talk about things, share our feelings, share our solutions, and come to a conclusion and then make it happen. Right? So that's literally how you move into creating a solution, finding a safe space. It's not the bedroom, it's
Mm.
not the bathroom, it's not the children's bedrooms. What do we do when
Designing.
we come together? Right, excuse me. When we come to the dining room table, we're sharing meal, we're laughing, we're usually talking about our day. We're talking about, tell me about your day, how are your friends? So we're sharing everything.
Ad hoc conversations where actually subject requires more attention.
Right,
I don't like,
right.
yeah, you are vacuuming or cleaning the house, and then the kiddo is coming. You, oh, mom, by the way, one, two, three, and then your hair stands straight, and because that's the seriosity of the subject, and you are just in the middle, focusing if you are collecting dust with your vacuum cleaner correctly. And,
Exactly, exactly.
and I
But
like this.
now yeah, you don't have a full attention because you were in the middle of something else, and you won't have their full attention, especially when you're going to their bedroom, because
Mm,
their bedroom is their sanctuary. They
yeah.
don't want to be told or shown or, or come up with some kind of negotiating idea in their sanctuary. So when you come to the dining room table, everyone is sharing. It's a safe, excuse me, it's a safe space, and it's the end of the means to the solution.
You actually mentioned already a few times about the patterns, and no doubts we are copying and pasting patterns, even
Hmm.
if we don't know. Unfortunately, the negative one, we don't
Hmm.
know about them, that they are growing in us. The
Hmm.
positive will make us grow, obviously.
Hmm.
But there is also something you mentioned some at the beginning, that we are taking certain patterns from the parents,
Hmm.
we are putting them in the practice when we are adult, but not necessarily fit in.
Right. Hmm.
Thing.
So you said that positive experiences help us grow, and then you never said anything about the negative ones. The negative ones also help us grow as well. Here you have these four walls, right? And your mom has seen how her mom does things. So she's taken on all of those patterns. Now she's frustrated at the end of the day. She's exhausted at the end of the day. She's lonely at the end of the day. But it's the same patterns that her mom had. But her mom didn't project any of those emotions. She was happy and content and felt successful in what she was doing. But you, on the other hand, aren't, but you have the same patterns of mom that you took on. You are two different souls, two different personalities, two different mindsets, right? And so, because you were only shown certain things in your four walls, you don't know what the neighbors did, your girlfriend did, your brother or your cousin that lives in another state did
Mhm.
in their household. You only know yours. But within you, your heart is saying, I love to be outside. When your parents were so restricting and you lived in a community that may not have felt safe outside, that they kept you indoors and you kept pushing to go outside and play, right? So now your parents are saying, it's not safe here. This is what I want it to be. I need to protect you. And you're like, I want to go outside. So it's the same thing with the patterns that the parents are showing and creating. And the child is saying, this doesn't feel right. I want something else. I have many people that have come to me and felt extremely restricted or capped off from what their parents were showing them, because may it be the someone may have died young and the mother is overprotective, or she was raised by a grandmother and she had to raise herself technically because the grandmother was older. And so now she's like doing the opposite, but the child is going, no, 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 I need to be able to run more. I need more protection, because I can usually feel that in their energy when that soul, meaning that individual, needed something different than the upbringing or the patterns that their caregivers were placing upon them. And so there's where you're saying forcing those patterns. Yes, but here we are raising our children and we don't see that we're forcing those patterns upon them, but we are. And so
Mm.
if we stop long enough to look at how the child is interacting with their toys, or how they love to sing, or they're laughing so loud, but we tell them, be quiet, this soul is wants to be out there, wants to project, wants to feel happy in being able to laugh loud and run and interact with the adults in the kitchen. But most of the time they're saying, go in the other room. Right? And so that's where they're being forced to shift their own internal personality.
And
Yes.
because we have it, this should behavior from the house, and we are carrying
Yes.
that out. No, 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 this is not the way how you will be dressed. because you have
Yes.
been judged and told when you have been child by your parents how you should be dressed. So automatically you are not allowing your child to bloom. And then yeah, these kind of practices because in old times parents were using a belt when we were out of
Mm.
control.
Hmm.
And it was one belt for whole life, and you know where are you. You will remain
Hmm.
with the respect to the parents. The culture of raising the kids was different. The construct was different. And the interesting thing that even this old generation get upset on us, they were not screaming in this yelling way.
Mm.
They raised the
Mm.
voice, but it was solid voice
Hmm.
and showed the power with the belt. Then the further generation will try to copy paste that pattern because,
Hmm.
oh, my father got so much respect. So obviously that's the way how I can gain the respect.
Yes.
But we are not that parent. We are the
Yes.
outcome of two other people.
Yes.
So our voice will not be solid angry voice. It will be a screaming out of the panic.
Yes. Yes. It's very interesting. Yesterday was Mother's Day, and my girls always create a great adventure for me, and it's always a surprise. And it ended up being that we went to an outdoor market, and I hadn't been there in years, and they made it a surprise, and we were walking around. Now, as my children were growing up, I, you know, created all the clothes, I'd lay them out, but I would let them wear what was their personality. And
Mm.
so yesterday, having both my children, they're adults now, 29 and 27, but I would see that when I was walking with my oldest daughter, that everyone would compliment both of our outfits.
Mm.
My youngest daughter has a complete way of what she does. She's more hobo style, the kind
Mm-hmm.
of yeah. And so she has a tattoo sleeve on the arm, and but she has created her way of living and how she enjoys life that way.
Mm-hmm.
But both are right. Both are have created their styles. My oldest says she loves my style, so she actually does a lot of the things that I do. Where my youngest will mix match and tie things that I've never seen before, which I'm like, what? I've done that. And so when we allow our children with guidance, quote
Mm-hmm.
unquote, to move and showcase and live through their personality, then they're happier. Then they're living what their soul is calling for instead of pushing, being able to share your day at the
Mm.
table. That would have been amazing.
I love
Some of,
that. You are speaking about the dress code, right? The dressing. It's a very trivial
Mhm,
thing. Uh, but somehow, for the young people, that's the key drive for this inner freedom. It's the first level of having a
mhm,
freedom of expression. The way how I am
mhm,
allowed, accepted in the house to dress up.
mhm,
Really, a
mhm,
first level,
mhm,
I'm accepted in that house.
mhm, mhm.
Like you say,
Yes.
tattoos,
Uh-huh.
but your daughter is happy, most probably, I assume.
She's very happy.
But
Yes.
it's me.
Full sleeve.
It's
Hmm.
me. And on top of that, my mom is smiling to me.
Yeah,
I think the parents is
exactly.
the first acceptance where we are seeking for. Huh?
Exactly. Accepting them in their decisions, but you've guided them in order to help them see the difference between right and wrong, right? With no judgment. That's the guidance, but still allowing their personality, their persona to shine through.
There is a household, there is a private life, and then there is your development around the healing of people.
Hmm.
Because you mentioned about 14 years of marriage and life is very consuming, the
Hmm.
life in the house,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
then you are finding in you the space to work with other people.
Hmm. Yeah.
How did you take it up?
Well, I did have a spiritual epiphany at the end of that 14-year relationship where I was rock bottom and I was having feelings and thoughts to unalive myself because I felt that if this is what love is, I don't want it anymore. And it was, to me, a matter of just exiting that way versus just walking out the front door. So I had a spiritual epiphany in the middle of the night where I had gotten out of the bed and laid on a bathroom floor. And I had a conversation with all that is higher self, God, again, whatever you want to
Mhm.
label it, we can call it God in this particular case. And it was just three simple words that came to me. And because I had been squeezing blood from him for him to show and tell me he loves me, out of
Mm,
all those years, I wasn't feeling it. And I finally said, I'm done. But God said, love will come. It was so masculine and so present and so right, believing it was so right. It was as if someone was holding my hand and said, yeah, love will come. How could you not believe that? And so I swooshed back into my body because I was in a state of this lucid dreaming when it was happening on the bathroom floor. And the next day, my entire life changed. I knew without a doubt that the thing that I wanted the most was coming to me, but it had to come in the form of changing what I was thinking, feeling, and knowing. So within 3 months, I did end up leaving that relationship. And then I went on the journey of understanding more than what my eyes were hearing and what my eyes were seeing and what my ears were hearing. I had to understand that I was love because I was pouring in so
mm,
much love to others that I forgot that I was somebody. And that's what happens to a lot of people in relationships.
mm.
They forget that they're somebody. And then you're like lost, alone, and all the other things that I mentioned earlier. And then to reclaim who I really was at the time and am today, that I am perfect love, that I do have boundaries and can say no, and that I can feel happy when I look in the mirror without having someone standing next to me. And when you reclaim all of that, then the magical things happen. You live in more gratitude. You trust yourself more. You manifest things beyond your wildest dreams, and you live a very fulfilling life. But you have to reclaim yourself before you get to the place of where you want to be.
So many people are creating their world, love, based on the projection. And that's my observation. The projection will be, unfortunately, not based on who we are, with whom we are falling in love, but to fit in with the society. So,
Hmm.
as the people around are building house, like in the bricket house, the family,
Hmm.
we want to do
Hmm.
it the same. And this is where the definition of love is so much broken. And at the end of the day, like you said, we forget that there is someone. And I will say we forget the first person we shall love and give love is ourselves. How on
Hmm.
earth is possible we are the last person that it will
Yeah,
occur to us? Loving
yeah,
myself? I'm too busy to squeeze myself to show how much I love others,
yes,
despite they don't
yes,
love us back.
yes, absolutely. I agree.
When you were talking about your manifesting to achieve your great success of being in shows, can
Hmm.
you, yes, share with us? Because I think we all love to hear the power
Yes.
behind.
Hmm.
Is that's the real
Yeah.
case. You are sitting here in front of all of us.
Yes. Yes.
So, yes, can you share with us? You
Yes.
started about people giving up after a short
Yes.
time and how
Yes.
you started to meditate and manifest
Yes.
to achieve what
Yes.
you actually want.
Yes. Yes. So thank you for bringing that up because it is powerful and I am a master manifester. So back in 2017, I thought, oh, it'd be really cool to be on TV. So every day before the end of or by the time I was going to bed, I would lay in bed and I would start to visualize what that would look like. And so not being in front of a camera, other than recording my own social media, I would just visualize, what a camera would look like that would be filming me. And then I would be talking, and then I would see myself signing contracts, and then I would move into the space that I believed it. That when I was seeing it in my mind's eye, I believed it. And when you believe it, you have this sense of excitement, of joy, of support and love, right? So, and like I said, it took me a year to get on the first reality show, but how it happened would just blow your mind. It was literally like not anybody contacting me directly. It was all indirectly. I was working at a wellness center. Nobody, when I walked in, it was my day to work that day. The phone was ringing. Nobody was at the front desk. And I always think, that's for me. That's a client for me. I always think that way. It's all for me. Yes, yes, the world is for me. So I answered the phone and they said, hello, this is so-and-so with Bravo, because that's the platform that Real Housewives airs on. Need a message to the owner. I gave a message. A month later, they called again. I happened to answer the phone again. Hello.
Oh,
Just, there are no coincidences in this world. And they asked for it again. We want it, whatever. Then another month later, I walk in my day of duty and there's a lot of buzz, a lot of people running around. And I'm like, what's going on? Oh, the Real Housewives are coming in today. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad I wore makeup today. No one told me. Again, I didn't know. I said, what do y'all want me to do? Because the owner knows that I manifest things beyond everybody's wildest dreams, I stood in the corner where she told me to stand and I said, just tell me whatever you want me to do. Oh, yes, just stand over there.
mm,
So the film crew came in, two producers came in, they walked down to the end of the hall, and I'm still standing in the corner. And the next thing I know, I hear someone calling my name at the end of the hall. I said, oh, I just go trot, trot, trot down the end of the hall. And I said, what can I do for you guys? Need some coffee, water? What do you need? They take my shirt, they stick a camera, or excuse me, stick a microphone and said, it's ready. We're time. It's your time. We're going to make this really great. And I'm like, huh? What's going on?
wow.
Here, just sign this contract. I'm signing right there and then, literally with the microphone on me. And they said, this is what's happening. And I said, do you want me to create things or do what I do naturally? Do what you do naturally. So they just gave me the storyline up to these two individuals who I'd never met before in my entire life. And then I went in and it was being filmed just like that.
Mm,
Just like that. And that's exactly how I manifested it because I visualized signing the contract and I did when they handed it to me. I visualized the cameras being in front of me or what they could look like. Six of them were right in front of me. I visualized everything and I knew it and I created it. And so then COVID came. And then after that, 21, and I said, it's time to manifest being on TV again. So I would close my eyes. And because now I know what it looks like with cameras right in front of me, so I could visualize all the cameras. I could visualize the contract. I could see it and feel it and know it. And this was just as magical. So I would visualize it while I was meditating. 3 months, someone came to me as a client, and I always introduce myself and what my background is. And I said, hey, I was on Bravo, Real Housewives of Potomac, and this is what I'm about, and this is what I can do for you. And she goes, I was on Real Housewives too. And I'm like, really? Tell me. And lo and behold, her name was Monique Samuels, one of the main cast members, but she was not on the show anymore. And she said, I have another promotion or another opportunity. And I had been working with her for a couple of months. And she said, can I give the producers your name? And it took 3 months, and I knew exactly what it was going to look like. And it was so magical. We walk in again. I'm still at the same wellness center, not anymore, but then. And the 6 cameras were there again. And I said, what do you all want me to do? And they said, Terrie time. And the whole thing just spontaneously came out because I'm fully connected. I've been doing this work for 20 years. I was able to vision what was happening between each of the couples. I shared it while they're filming. It was all magical, and nothing was, none of they're not scripted. And it just happened exactly the way I do my work. And I shared what was going on in between certain couples. And then it's history. So my next up is manifesting a next show.
Is it is it true um, that what they say, we shall now share our next step? Whatever action we want to take in our life, the decision, dream, do not share with other people until you reach that.
No, no, because when you're sharing it, you're committing to the world. You're committing to
Mm.
yourself and to the world. You're committing your soul that you want to do it to the world. You're not setting yourself up for failure. I remember when I first started doing this, I was still in corporate, but I was just dabbling into this energy work. And I remember a woman coming up to me and she just asked me something about what I wanted to do in the future. I said, I want to talk to your dead grandmother because I am a medium as well. I talk to the non-physical. She looked at me, her head spun around. She goes, what? I said, yeah. I set my intention years before I even became a medium. And I said it out loud, and I didn't care how people were going to act or feel or know. It was about me. And that's what counted.
Heal the past, love your life. This is your statement that you
Yes,
share on your website with the people, and it hits. It really hits.
yes,
Because life
yes,
is one.
yes,
Message to our audience, if you can share before we will dive into the
yes,
rest of the day.
yes. So trust and know your inner guidance system. Trust what you feel and know that you can create beyond what your eyes and ears are showing you. When you move into that space and start to believe, then the magic starts to happen. But you have to shift how you're responding, how you see things, live in more gratitude, start meditating, and create the things that you're saying that you want.
Beautiful. Thank you very much. And our audience, homework for you. It's during the week. I know you are busy with all your errands, but today just plan at least 10 minutes on Saturday, coming Saturday, that you will really silence yourself and think about yourself. It will not solve all what you have in your hand. It will not bring you the answers. If you need the support, connect with Terrie. You can find all the links or connections to Terrie down in the description. Terrie is also running the meditations. So we can always meet at the Terrie online meditation, right? Do I correct? Yes,
Yes,
I
yes. If you
got
go to
that
my
right.
website, yeah, you go to my website,
Exactly.
there's a free guided meditation that you can snag up for yourself.
So you have here tools that you can make the change. Don't expect the change will be no pain, but if there is no pain, no gain. Thank you, everyone. Thank you very much, Terrie. Have a
Thank
lovely
you, honey.
day and have a great
Yes,
week ahead.
thanks. You too. I'll
Thank
talk
you.
to you soon.
Bye.
Bye-bye.